everybody. Welcome back to this episode of the podcast. I am Coach MJ, and this is my host,
DJ Rock. There is no higher.
Oh my gosh. Why you gotta
have to say that?
All the young people are like, what is he talking about? Google
Exactly.
Look it up. So what's going on? I have on my amazing Juneteenth t-shirt. One of them. I have multiple Juneteenth. Now, it is not Juneteenth season right now, but I'm just repping it because it's Juneteenth 365. But I just found out that my friend, my co-host, Vernon, has a different thought process on celebrating Juneteenth. What's up, Vernon? Like, that's when the people in Texas found out they've been free for 2 years in this country. They came.
What? Free?
Well, okay. So there's free and there's free. So like, I'm of the mindset that we're still not free. As long as we have to have legislation to wear our hair to work, things of that nature, like we're not free. But the idea is, why do we even need freedom? Why is that even a thing that we're still having to talk about? Why is it that, the president just recently, in the midst of all the turmoil in 2020?
Yeah,
all the things going on, killings, all that, a holiday was granted. It seemed like a consolation prize. And I did feel some type of way about that. It's like, why don't you address the real issues? But you were telling me a little while ago that you don't even think we should be celebrating Juneteenth. So tell the people why. And let me tell y'all something. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I'm going to hear them out. Maybe I'll learn something. That's what we're here for, is to learn. So what's up? What's up with Juneteenth?
No, just me, I felt in a certain type of way when the Juneteenth holiday came about. To me, it's like, why are we celebrating something that should have never happened? We celebrate someone telling us that we are free, that you're not slaves anymore. And to me, it's like, I look at it as like, I was born in this world free. I should be able to die in this world free. I'm not going to let some other race or some other country tell me now that I'm free.
A lot of them felt that way, especially the ones that probably felt the strongest were already dead. The original people that were enslaved and brought here, their descendants had never known freedom. So the people that were freed had never been free before. Their ancestors were already dead.
And I think that's the way it kind of, makes me feel a certain ways, because you're totally correct, MJ, because it's like, we've been born into freedom. We don't understand what it's not like. Okay. Yeah. Quote. We didn't have to experience. Let me say this. We didn't have to experience what our ancestors experienced. You look at just us coming out of the civil rights movement in the 60s, me and you, we're not too far removed from that.
I was born in the 70s. So
yeah, I'm a 70s baby. So we were back in some times where women didn't, and blacks and minority people couldn't vote. So, we're not too far removed from that. And to me, when I think about Juneteenth, it really upsets me. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because it's, to me, celebrate something that should never have been. We should never been slaves. We should have never.
We should be glad that happened, because that moved us forward. But the celebrating of it, I see it as an opportunity to get more eyes on the real conversations that need to be happening. Does it? Well, we're just 2 years in. It's 2022.
But I see all of these companies jump on the bandwagon and send out these emails about Juneteenth. We let the slaves free. When you're at a Fortune 100 or a Fortune 500 company, and you see these emails come out, and you're an African American, you're a Black, you have to see these. Like, to me, it almost makes it seem like they have one up on us. Like, you know what? You better be happy we let you guys free.
Oh, for sure.
We the ones, we're going to celebrate that we let you guys free. And when you see that in companies, and you see that's always, to me, is like a constant reminder.
Like, y'all should be glad.
Exactly.
From that perspective, absolutely. So I see it as an opportunity to, are there corporates that are going to be vultures on? Absolutely. I make sure that all of my Juneteenth shirts that I got, because the first year 2022, I think it was in 2020, or no, it was 2021. I had a virtual Juneteenth celebration. I threw it
Okay.
together in about 2 or 3 weeks. I had people from all over the country, all over the world tuned in to this celebration. There were people performing. It was
Okay,
great.
baller.
I'm gonna have to do that. I should have done it this year. I did. I'm gonna have to do it again next year. It was crazy, but there were poets, there were singers, there were just all kinds of things going on. And a lot of them were what we call super conscious or woke, and really we're doing some educating. We need to do more of that. While we have this attention on this travesty that never should have happened, what can we do to educate ourselves? A lot of our people they don't even get, a lot of Black people don't even get what Juneteenth really means, or what that date was and what was going on. A lot of our people are Black. We're free, we can do. No, we need to learn our history. We should not still be learning about, I saw a video the other day where Elvis got his voice from, which we know he was a culture vulture from the beginning, but there's a Black man, I can't think of his name, but I shared it on my Facebook story or on my page, a Black man whose voice Elvis's sounds exactly like. This man, his voice, the tone of his voice is a Elvis's is a replica of his. He stole the songs that the man sang. It's on my Facebook story right now, but
okay.
It's like, and so we know that, but like to just keep seeing the names and the stories, it's like, why is this just, and that's one of the good things about social media, is that these stories can come forward and there's no reason for anybody to not know that this stuff has been happening. So I like Juneteenth as an opportunity to get some light shown even more on other stuff. I know my cousin, he lives in Ohio, and he had the opportunity to speak in front of a well-known retail chain, I guess their headquarters or whatever, for Juneteenth. And he's a teacher, and he's a Black history dude. He's like that one. Like he's about that life. So I don't know what he said, but it went well. But he was giving them the real, like that uncomfortable conversation. But they invited him. So he was able to do that for their Juneteenth celebration. So I think the more we get, now that it's a federal holiday, every company doesn't necessarily let their employees off.
They don't let you out. They just send out an email and say, we're celebrating Juneteenth. And then they put in there that Abraham Lincoln, he really set him free, but he really didn't get free until this date.
He's not a hero. He didn't even do it this week. It's like he was doing it for some other reason. And it just happened that, we're not going to do that, but give it an opportunity I made sure when I had my Juneteenth celebration that I had some sponsors, and all I asked them to do was to send me a t-shirt. And I made sure they were all Black created t-shirts as far as the designs on them. So we have to get better about being intentional about how we use it, but it's not just what I did see a lot of Black people do is start to shift away from 4th of July. You want to have your picnic, I get it. Let's have it on. Because we definitely wasn't free when July 4th hit.
Yeah, that's a fact.
There was no semblance of, the ancestors didn't probably work that day in the field. So July 4th, that's not fun. But we've been celebrating for years, again, in ignorance and not understanding symbols matter. And what you do matters. And yes, we are American, but let's face it, the lyrics of that song, of the national anthem and all those things, they just weren't true. Because at the moment you're saying all men are created equal, you were literally had your foot on the neck of a whole group of people, so.
I think people use even the national anthem. I think people use it in different ways. I think they use it in different ways to motivate them. That national anthem for me I look at it different. For me, as a student athlete, whenever I had to make it to like in wrestling, whenever we made it to the finals of a tournament, that song was always played. And it, to me as an athlete, and I think mostly athletes will relate to this, is that we look at it as that going out there fighting in the brave, that whole thing. So it got me, even when I made it to the state finals, that song was played, but that was my motivator. That was my go into battle type of mode. So I used to hear that song over and over because, I was really good, you guys. I was that man.
Wow. That what we doing, Bernie? We gonna do that? Okay, all right.
So I used to hear that. So I have a little different
I mean, I'm not
perspective
against
on,
the singing of the song. I'm
yeah.
just some of the lyrics in the other verses that they don't sing as
Oh,
often.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
okay.
I was going to ask you, do you think that companies and organizations are culture vulturing on this situation?
I mean, absolutely are. Right after they sign that thing in the law, different. I think that, like, for example, the inviting of my cousin, he was a great speaker for them, but I think it was more of a let's do something so it looks like we're trying to do something. The companies that are serious about this thing, about being more inclusive and all that, they were already doing the work. They're
Yeah.
already doing things that their employees can feel. But a lot of them, they just want to sell some stuff. What did I see in the stores? Was it Juneteenth candles or
Man, they were selling everything
man,
Juneteenth last year.
everything had these colors on it. It's very appropriating. It's just like you can't just put an African looking label on something with some colors and now it's for Juneteenth. But it was the same item that the previous month. Look, they did the Juneteenth colors, they do Pride, they do the same thing to Pride. We just gonna put the rainbow on something and sell it. Like, you got to look at what's the company doing the whole year. How are they treating their people the whole year?
Yeah.
And then what are they doing? I don't mind them having products that accommodate if, by and large, they are treating, and you can find out, you look on social media to find out what their employees really think about working there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A lot of them, they do jump on the bandwagon. Oh, it's Juneteenth. I saw red, green, and black and gold on so much stuff.
Hey, what was that we had in
wasn't
the,
really.
You remember in the 80s and 90s, we had where the colors, you remember they used to have the little African red, green, black little things we used to wear?
I was not alive in the 80s or 90s, Vernon. I'm 29 years old.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's get back to it. What was in the 80s and 90s that you wore?
We wore these colors a lot. We wore those colors a lot in the
I forgot that rap group. It was a rap group that used to just God, I can't think of it right now, but it was a rap group that used to wear all the African colors. Well, because we were on that all back to Africa and all of that stuff.
Well, I know what you're talking about. I can picture what you're talking about.
I cannot, a lot of them that were Naughty by Nature. It was some group. I cannot think of
back
it.
then. You gotta remember, like in the earlier days of rap, hip hop, and all, they were talking about topics that were meaningful.
Oh, definitely.
They swooped all them people to the side and embraced the gangster rap and the demeaning rap. That's the ones that have moved forward. But in the early days with your Kumo D and your what's the guy? I can see KRS-One.
Oh, like you always say to me, that's going to be a topic. This new generation rap versus how the old generation.
You need to call it something else.
What effect has that had on our community, our livelihood, and how people look at us?
Oh yeah.
I don't even want to go there right now
because it's huge. It's a huge. Yeah. And what it was, we had those folk talking about Big Daddy Kane. Oh, they had something positive to say. Yes, they sometimes they have talked about love and romance and all that as well. But you saw where they decided, oh, those are the rappers we're gonna let survive. And then we saw the anger and the promoting a gang lifestyle and demeaning women, all that got to be pushed forward. And the other people, and they're still alive, a lot of them.
Yeah, the conscious people. Yep.
It wasn't that they quit. It was that they weren't getting on the radio. They weren't, that was intentional. That was intentionally done. Who are we going to push forward? Who are we going to put on our now, here's what I would like to say, and I won't go down the tangent on it, but I believe if your KRS-Ones, Big Daddy Kanes, all those folks from back then, if they had started that stuff now that the record labels don't control everything, like you can release your album on YouTube for free. Like,
you can stream it. You can go through different.
If they started now, it would be unstoppable. So now you have a few people, like what's the dude, Toby Nwigwe. You have a few people, you can name them, who are trying to talk about something different. But by and large,
like J. Cole is one of my favorite. J. Cole, he's cold with it. He's wordplay, everything he says. Yeah, he's Kendrick Lamar is a
right.
Goes that way.
You know what I'm saying? You can actually sit and name them. And but we're finding out about them not because major record labels. These people are able to own. I love the way Toby has done what he's done. He owns everything. Nobody can. And really, oh my God, there's so much going on. Okay, we're all over the map. But like all these creators, people like, oh, somebody needs to give them a show. They don't need to be given no show. Their YouTube channel and their Facebook channel is their show, and
No,
nobody
that's
can
their brand.
control
That's their
them.
marketing. Yeah.
Kev on Stage has created his own studio. Nobody can own him. What people are like, oh, he needs to get a Netflix special. No, he doesn't. He has a special. Go to his channel and watch it. Like people are still waiting for the validation of Hollywood. Them days are over. You got people going viral on YouTube with one little video they made in their kitchen. Like you don't need the people that control. Now they're going to find other ways to try to censor, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Like as we think about even with June, when you think about Juneteenth, and it's about us being able to be set free. You know, one thing that we're going to have to understand that we're going to have to start owning these platforms. You know, we don't own major platforms. We can be shut down, and individuals can be shut down at any time. You have places like YouTube, Spotify, all these big companies, Facebook.
Make your own.
It can cut you.
It's not. We're going to actually have to do that. So like one of the things I love about Kev on Stage, he got some good advice from somebody. I can't remember who he gave credit for exactly. But he said he was referring to his Kev on Stage app, which I had on my phone, as an app. He said, no, we don't call it an app. It's a streaming platform. He has subscribers. He owns the actual platform where there's lots of comedians and other content 24 hours a day on his app, Facebook. Yes, he is also on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. But his thing that he owns is his app that has all his content on it. And that's what we all need. And it's not that hard to start an app. It's a little expense to it, but it's not the most expensive thing in the world. You just get a developer to do it for you. Put your stuff there, drive people to that. Yeah, there's a few people that I don't know if you know about it, The Chosen. It's a television series about the life of Christ. They started out on YouTube, but they've been driving people to their app. It's still free to watch it, but they don't, everything's not on YouTube anymore. You got to go to their app. So then when someone starts messing with them, you can't mess with them on their app in the same way you could on YouTube and these other platforms. So they use those other platforms to draw people to the platform that they own.
Yes.
Then if Spotify shuts something down, it's like, I've been driving people to my app the whole time. Yeah. That's what we have to do. We don't need another Facebook replica. Like there's one out there, I won't name them, but there's a Black-owned social media site, and they're always sending me emails. You gotta log in and do it because we're gonna lose it. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't have friends on it. It can't be the same. Create something different. Don't create a replica of Facebook somewhere else because that's already been done. Like they got billions of people on Facebook now.
If you have a quality of something, I think you can replicate, because like Facebook replica what they did. You know what I'm saying? I think the biggest person or company that fumbled the ball was Classmates. Like Classmates.com. You remember Classmates.com where you could have all your classmates, like you could connect, but their problem was their business model. They charged you. Everybody wasn't gonna pay just to connect with their.
To see them people. I got to
yeah. So that's why everybody started going to Facebooks and places like that because it was free.
That's what Facebook did right. Don't charge. That's right. The people will come. Now they get their money from
marketing, advertising.
Let the people be on there for free.
Yeah.
Let the people be on there for free. And now Big Brother done got a hold of it. Now they're like, people just willingly give away information that they used to, just information about what we're doing every single minute of the day. Giving it to them for free. I heard it said that the CIA uses Facebook more than any of their other things that they do to spy on Americans, to watch what we're doing. They just go right to social media. Because you tell them
you got a billion, you got a billion people on a platform. And you know that law enforcement, that's like how a lot of stuff is happening now. You know, a lot of law enforcement, they don't have to go nowhere. They just go online.
No,
Cybersecurity.
You know who they know. You can see their friends and friends of friends. You can see what they believe because people post their opinions about stuff. The news story hits, they're on there posting about it. So they don't realize they have psychologists that are linked up with law enforcement and are linked up with things like the CIA and they can tell if a person thinks this, they're likely to do this. If they this, to do this. I just got my known traveler number last week. I know now I'm in that FBI database like that. I wanted it. I wanted it, Bernie. I wanted TSA.
Hey, look, and June 15th, Juneteenth is all about being what? set free, and now you back in the system, locked up. Nah,
I think I was already in there, honey. I always tell my mom, because she's older, and so she's kind of squeamish about doing things online and all that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I say, you're not really off the grid. I mean, they know where you are. I said, use it for it benefits you, because you in there, they watching you some kind of way regardless.
You're on the grid.
Not being on social media, that's your right. But just don't think that not being on there, somehow you're like, no. They know.
As long as you have this, you are on the grid.
Baby girl got one of these. She got one of these. She got a laptop. I'm like, you don't have to be on social. I made her a page though. She's not on, but she has a social media page. But yeah, don't not be on it because you think that somehow you're escaping government oversight. Just don't be on it because you don't have time or something like that. But don't think that you're avoiding it. They're watching you. If you got a smartphone, they're all up in it. That's why everything we talk about, I'll see ads about it as soon as we get off this. I will see known traveler number. I will see suitcase ads. I'm going to see Juneteenth ads. I know it.
You're going to see
it's not listening. It is listening.
They're recording your conversation as you speak. That's funny.
Go on and talk about the next thing, Bertie. Cue it up.
All right. Yes. Let's go ahead and go into the next topic. I'm glad, Melanie, that you did bring that Juneteenth, because at least, no matter what different opinions that you may have or I may have, at least that information is out there for people to be able to at least see, do their own research and be able to understand how your company or how other organizations work and what are they trying to do to get you into their organizations or companies. And do they have the same beliefs, systems that you may have? So,
if the only time you hear about it is in May. Oh, we're gonna have this one speaker, but what about in November, in September, and all the other
be all year, not just 1 month.
Yeah, it needs to be Juneteenth 365. Yep.
This topic that I definitely wanted to talk about, it's related to our 5-year plans, our 10-year plans good. And the reason why I thought this was a good topic is just, it was like, I was reading this Forbes article and it said, why are your 5 or 10-year plan is not working? And sometimes when I'm looking at things that I'm trying to accomplish, I've always had this mindset about, oh man, you can't put a time frame on things. And, you just it's going to happen when it happens. But, and I used to not really plan long term. I didn't do the 5 and 10-year plans. So I always felt like, man, I just can't look that farther into the future. I can't think about all these different things that I need to accomplish so far. Are you, even from a business point or even from a personal or just, personal goals and those different things. So it was always really kind of throwing me off. But this article I read, it was talking about how sometimes when we're looking at different things into the future, we're not being particular about what we're really trying to get done. Yeah. So when it was talking about you have to be particular on how you're going about doing something, when you think about particular, you have to think about actions. So most of the time when you're thinking about the actions, a lot of times when we're looking at something 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, what are you doing to be particular where you are not particular, but practical, I think is what it was. When you're trying to be practical about something, you start to have timelines. You start to make sure that it's actions behind it. So once you start doing actions, you start breaking it up. So it doesn't become a 10-year, it becomes more of in phase.
Really?
Yes. So
that's so important. Yeah. When you say, I think a lot of times when people think of 5 and 10-year plans, they get overwhelmed or they think, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to be locked in. But if you don't have an idea of where you want to go, you'll never start. And that's what 5 and 10-year plans really allow for you. And I just thought of 2 examples that I usually give when I'm part of my business coaching and stuff is goal setting, right? And
MJ the coach, MJ the coach. I'm getting some advertisement here for you.
Let's get into it, because it's interesting in these two examples I'm going to give people, it's easy for them to think of a long-term plan, but in the rest of life, they think it's just going to kind of happen by magic. And that's not how it works. When you think about planning a vacation, there are people who have a vacation of a lifetime plan, and maybe it's a year or 2 years out because it's going to cost $5,000 and need to save for whatever. The very fact that you say in September of 2024, we're going to go to the Greek islands, that's a 2-year plan. You won't book the trip. You won't start saving the money if you don't know that in September of 2024, you need to get on a plane to go to the Greek islands.
You got to have it.
I'm going to go on that date. I have to pick a date. So then I know I have to go on a website and see how much it costs. And then I have to start deciding how much, when does it due? When are the payments due? Or when is the deadline to pay it? Okay, I need to break that up. How much do I need to save every month out of every paycheck? And you put that plan in place. I need to call the travel agent. I need to get my passport. But you have to first say 2 years from now, I want to do that. Or you won't do any of the other stuff. You don't just decide one morning, I'm gonna go on vacation and just get in the car and start driving. Like, you have to know, I want to go east or what. You can't make a move unless you know what the outcome is going to be. When you are going somewhere, like the choir thing was, we went to St. Louis Friday to sing. We had to know we were going to St. Louis to know which way to go. And that example makes sense to people. It's like, well, of course I have to know where I'm going or I can't drive there. But that's how anything is. If you don't know where you want to be, and saying I want to make my first million in the next 3 years, that doesn't mean, and I want to do it doing this. That doesn't mean you have to stick to that. You may get down a year and a half in and find another thing that's going to get you there faster. That just means you pivot. Saying I want to have 10,000 new customers 5 years from now that just gives you something to work towards. And so you know what you have to do. You can always change your approach. You can always shift up, but without an idea of where you're going and a strong, specific idea, it won't inspire action today. You can't wait till 5 years and be like, okay, here's the customers. You got to do stuff for the whole 5 years to even get near there.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, as you start to think about like planning out, something, that's a 5 to 10 year plan. To me, you have to be practical. You have to think about a couple of different ways that you're going to try to progress to get to this plan. And then one of the things I did like about this article, it said that sometimes we have like 2 different ways of how we connect with getting things done. And then he says one of the connections is that at the beginning we're motivated. So we have this motivation. It brings up that energy. It gets us real excited. It has us ready to be able to, go out here and tackle this 10-year plan,
We can conquer the world.
Exactly. You're going out there and you try to conquer the world. But when you look at it, that when you're doing that 10-year plan and you're thinking about it, you're at the beginning, you are motivated. You do have that motivation. But the other part of it, he says that the second connection is being rational. A lot of the times, you have to be motivated and then you have to be rational. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can set, I want to be a billionaire. But is that rational? That I'm going to do that in 10 years?
I'm going to do that in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to
be rational, realistic, or you're going to fall off the bandwagon because it doesn't make sense. I want to go back to one thing you just said about motivation before you move to the rational. Okay. A lot of times people are, and I saw this so much, I see this as a coach, people are waiting for the motivation to get started, but that's not how it works. Action gets you to be motivated. Motive comes from the same root word as motion. Action, right? Yeah. People are waiting. I'm just not motivated. Do something when you don't feel motivated, and that will inspire motivation. Your motivation is also your reason why you are doing it. Do you really know why, or are you just doing it because that's what somebody said you should do? You should start a t-shirt business because you can make lots of money. But is that your purpose? Yeah. Is that what you're supposed to be doing? Yes. That's why you're not motivated, because that's not your thing. But the thing is, taking action when you don't feel motivated will help you to feel motivated. And let's face it, sometimes in life, you're not going to ever feel motivated in that you're just like excited about it. Sometimes you still have to do it. Most of us, when we have a job we don't love, aren't motivated to go to work just to go, but you're motivated by that check. That's what motivates you. You want that check, but don't try to wait until you feel motivated, get excited. What's going to get you motivated is taking action. I did not get fired up about building my business until I booked that first strategy call with the business coach that taught me how to build my business. Yep. Then I got excited about the possibilities, but I had to take the action to watch his webinar and book the call. I was not motivated. I mean, the ad got me in. I was like, what's this ad about? I clicked on it. I had to sit and watch the webinar when I wasn't excited about it. I got excited about what he was saying, but the motivation came from, you say you want to have a business, MJ. Yeah. And right now you have a job. You got to do something. And when I saw his ad, I clicked on it. They said, book a call if you want more information. I had to do it. I wasn't like, yes, I want to book the call. I was just like, that's the next step.
Yeah, and that action is so key. I'm so glad you said that, because the action, you have to put something behind what your plan is going to be. Yeah, because what they say is like that. What they say, that dopamine, like when you get high, so excited, you're high at the initial part of the plan and of what you're trying to do or what you're trying to become, and then that wears off, and then that's where
once you hit them roadblocks, once you see how hard it is, you're like, that happened to me. I was day and night learning, and then
and that can kill the motivation. Because of the work that you have to do can kill the motivation. So that's the thing that you want to make sure that, you have to be rational about it. Like we said with the second one, you want to make sure that you're being realistic, you're bringing these things in. But at the end of the day, these things have to be planned out. You have to do them. You can't think about the 10-year goal and 5 years. Think about the elephant and
how you're going to eat it. It's one bite at a time. What you're going to do this month, this week, today.
It's one bite. And the one thing after it went into the article talked about the two, motivational and being rational. It went into these other 3 phases. It says that it had one that was called create your 3-year vision. So if you have a 10-year, you may want to do your 3-year vision first. Think about that 3-year division, because then you're not looking at that task or that plan of what you're trying to do as so far out. And then it says
really those two. I'm sorry, go ahead. I mean, cut you.
No. The second one was saying that the second phase was define your 1-year goal, and then the third one was to define your 90-day. So it's 90. 1, 3 to get you to your 10-year goal. So those are things that you have to think about. Like we think about these different things that these different places are what we're trying to accomplish in 10 years. But really, you have to get these. You have to make sure you get them in phases. And you have small tasks, because you want something that you're getting up every day and putting action behind. If it's something that just motivates you and keeps doing it, that wears off. You have to have something that makes you do the work. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand that you have to put action, you have to do work. And I think when you start to do it in shorter increments, it'll help you. 90, 3-year, 1 year, what do you think?
100-day dash, right? Somebody may be trying to lose weight or just get in shape, but it's a lot. I got 150 pounds I'm working on. 100 days, can you walk more or whatever you're doing for the 100? Just those small, that's why those little challenges work, those little bursts of, I remember my business coach would often sponsor 90K in 90 days challenges. So people could earn 90K in the next 90 days. That gave you something to focus on. This dollar amount, this goals. I can watch it instead of saying, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, yes, you want to be a millionaire, but that's earned $1, 1 penny at a time. How are you going to do that?
Let's get 10 clients that we can bring in that can get us closer to that. Yeah.
Right. And you talked about the vision. Whenever I always have an analogy for everything. My daughter, she laughs at me. I got an analogy for everything. But when I was trying to distinguish for people between vision and mission, sometimes people think those are the same thing. A vision statement and a mission statement are not the same thing. No. A vision, if you can think about this show, That's So Raven, with Raven Simone. She said, I
Yeah.
can see into the future. She would, it was focus on her eye and then she would see the situation. Your vision needs to be some point in the future that you can just see the scenario and what you want it to look like. What do you want life
Facts.
to be like?
Facts.
Financially, health-wise, relationships, all those things. And you can almost describe it. You could have someone draw a picture of the things that are going on. That's your vision. And your mission is what's driving you in life. What are you meant to do? How are you going to get there to your vision? What are you going to be doing on the way there? But your vision is a point in time. And so having a 5-year vision, a 3-year vision, in 3 years, I want to be able to run my multi-million-dollar business from the beach. And I want to have a great spouse and a beautiful home. And this is what it looks like. And you can write a letter to yourself from the future and describe what life is like. Those are very powerful. Every time you read that letter, you can literally feel the emotions of being in that situation. That's where you get motivation from, knowing where you're going and feeling what it's going to feel like when you get there. Then you don't have to worry about the stuff that hits you now. It's just going to bounce off of you, like, because I'm going to be in that home. I'm going to be freedom is something for me. So when I go to the RV and boat show, I'm like one of 5 of us there. They be looking at me like, what you doing there? And yes, I do have my Black Power camo jacket on with all my patches. I'm petty. I go to that show with the Confederate flags. Yes, I do. Because I'm going to have a luxury camper van in the next year or so. And that's something that I want because freedom is a value for me. I can see myself on the open road. So these little roadblocks I hit, bumps along the way, I'm like, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be free, or I am free. I'm free already. You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to have, so having a 5 or 10 year plan, it just gets you started.
Do you think it's good though or bad?
Well, I think it's good to have a start. You have to know, but here's the thing. A lot of times, just like with a business plan, people think of it as writing a plan and you just put it away on the shelf. No, it's a working document. You should be tweaking it every month. You're working from it. So if you have to change it, you change it. I think what bothers
You
me
said the key word right there. When you said a working plan,
yes,
you
that's
can't
what people
sit
don't
on the shelf. You
that's why
have
people
to make
don't
it
like a
work.
plan in the future because they think that locks me in for 5 or 10 years. No, it doesn't.
No.
It's a document. You should be revisiting it all the time. All the time, every week, every month, you're looking at it for what you're doing. A business plan, yes, you do take a document sometimes if you're going to the bank to get a loan or something. And so that version of a business plan is a one and done. But your strategic plan, it should be constantly evolving, not just even at the beginning of the year. That's a good restarting point, but really you should be looking at that mug every month. And when you do,
because you should be planning milestones. You should be trying to plan milestones throughout the different plans that you have and the different goals that you're trying to meet. So you should have these milestones. You should have these different times that you're looking at to make sure that the actions are behind what that plan is.
When you pivot, you need to change sometimes you need to change. What people don't realize is, and here's I've heard people say this, and I love it so much I adopted it myself. Your end goal doesn't have to change. Like what you desire doesn't change. How you get there can change. So if you decided you want to be a multimillionaire, don't ever back off from that. Even if the business fails, even if you can't see it, you got to get a job, or your marriage falls apart, or you have don't ever back off of the goal. You might change how you get there, how long it takes. But a lot of times people think, oh, the business failed, so now I need to let go of that goal. No, just figure out another way to do it.
Another way, another path.
Because there's always another way. The goal needs to stay the same. That's the one thing I challenge people. Don't ever change your goal. If it was put in you, and that's why you need to write it down. Write it down and commit. I will have that. It doesn't matter how long it takes, because my business has not evolved the way I wanted to at times. At times it's been great. At times it has not been. But I'm never going to give up. I still speak about my goals in the present tense. When people ask me what I'm doing or where I'm going, I still speak about it. Even things that haven't been manifested, right? Manifest meaning it's in your hand. It still exists. It just hasn't come yet. There's a song you got to look this up if you've never heard it. There's a song on YouTube and it's on Apple Music. It's called Money Is Coming to Me by some guy named Eddie
Oh,
Eddie
money's
something.
coming to
Eddie,
me.
you've heard that
Money's
one?
coming to me.
You
No,
gotta
I
look
just
it
played.
up.
No, I've
Come
heard
on, you
it.
gotta play that. Money is coming to me.
To me.
Woo! Money is coming. Yeah, it's Eddie somebody. I can't never think of the man's name. But having that in your mind and knowing that's where you're going, that's what's going to continue to, if you are wishy-washy about whether you even want it, then when one thing fails, you won't have a reason to look for another way.
Yeah, you
There's
quit,
always
most
another
people
way.
quit after that.
Money,
The motivation's gone. They
yes,
failed at the action. The only thing that you have to understand that when you're trying to accomplish that 10-year or 5-year goal, you're gonna
yes.
have failure. You're gonna have so
Just
many
accept it.
failures.
You will fail. Even if
Yeah,
somebody else don't seem like they failed, they did. It might have
yeah,
been before you entered their story. They did.
yes,
Anybody who says it was an easy road is lying.
no.
And that they did not get it. Everybody has it may not be the trials you're having, but everybody has. We want success to be this. It's this.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah,
Even when you hit success, it's this,
yes,
right? Because success is it's almost an ever moving target. It's not I got there and I said, because if you sit, it will leave you. You have to continue moving. Like even billionaires, if they just get somewhere and sit and do nothing, it can't. Success favors action and movement. They will eventually
action.
lose it because they won't be doing anything to maintain it. They'll spend the money or they'll go somewhere, somebody else. So you have to always be. So even when we see celebrities, we see a Tabitha Brown whose empire I adore watching. I see Kev on stage. I see these other folk, but they continue working. They're
Yeah,
not taking for granted that, okay, I'm famous now. I got 1 million followers or whatever. And so I'm just going to sit because ain't there somebody waiting to come and take that? Yes. So they
yes.
continue to work. She continues to evolve. I'm going to write another book. I'm going to start another show. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So don't ever think I've arrived. And you think that when you get to that space, you want to stop. You won't.
You just said where when you feel like you arrived at a certain place, one thing you have to do also, as I think of when I think about this 5 and 10-year plan, sometimes you have to plan beyond what that goal is. Because
Sure.
the reason why, and I'm gonna give one example of me. When I was my goal was to go to Ohio State and wrestle, was to be on the wrestling team. It wasn't to win a national title. It wasn't to become this great known, wrestler who was going to go to the UFC and fight. It wasn't none of those things. And sometimes I was upset with myself that I didn't set that goal to be that high. One day when I was running around the practice room at Ohio State, I was running around the room and I'll never forget this day. I was like, man, I did it. I'm at Ohio State on the wrestling team. I accomplished my goal. That was my goal.
And you
But
hadn't even thought about it.
I was like, man, I accomplished my goal, but I failed myself.
Okay.
And the reason why I failed myself, because I didn't say I wanted to be a national champ at Ohio State.
What after that? I wish I had learned this concept when I started my career to always be planning for the next 2 promotions. I just kind of went with, somebody said they're hiring in this department.
I'm going over here.
Right. But it wasn't like I wasn't strategic with it. I didn't know. So now when I talk to young people about navigating corporate America, always be planning your next 2 roles, because otherwise, like if you wait till the moment you're ready to move, to start working on it, it's too late. And now you're moving in desperation and you make stupid moves. As soon as you get a role, you should already say, okay, I'm gonna stay here a year, but I got my eyes on my boss's job.
This and this.
And their boss's job, or whatever you want to do. If you want to move, whatever your moves are, otherwise you won't be doing the things in the present to set yourself up to make the move. So when they are looking for somebody, they're not gonna think of you because you're just moseying along in the current role, but you're not asking questions and asking to do things and in position.
Putting yourself in position.
Because you don't know where you're going. You haven't decided, I want that role next, and then that one. And then when you get that next one, add another one on. I thought about something a minute ago. When people think about a 5-year plan, there's a 5-year plan that people commonly align themselves with. It's not a plan that they've necessarily written out all the steps to, but they sign up for it all the time, and it's college. You just mentioned it. A 5-year degree, because let's face it, most people don't make it out in 4. A 5-year degree, when you decide to go to college, your 5-year plan is to get that bachelor. And then the school has a course sequence, and they tell you got to take these classes. So they tell you the plan, and they tell you when, because they tell you these classes in the fall, these in the spring, second year, third.
And 60 to 70% of people don't finish college.
Because the school has a plan, but did you adopt it as your own plan, or do you just kind of, well, what they say, I need to take this semester, and why do I want this? But a college degree is a 4 or 5 year plan.
That's true.
You decide, I want that thing. And that's because if you don't decide you want the degree, you'll never go to a school and sign up. Like, that's a basic idea, but it's the same thing. You won't take the actions. You won't go to the classes if you don't know what you want.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that one. So we're
already doing a 5-year plan with college with a house. If you want to buy a house, you don't just walk in one day and buy. Like, you have to decide, I want a house, and you have to see how much can I afford. You go talk to a bank, you get pre-approved, you get a real estate. But the thing you planned was 2 years from now, I want a house. I know someone personally who actually took some steps. They actually got out of their place they were living and moved in with friends for a year to save up the down payment. They didn't have enough money saved up at the time. Like, you have to know what you want in advance of when you want it. He had to decide, I want a house, back it up to when, what I need to do now. They need 20 grand or whatever it was. I need to save that up. What am I going to do? Move out of my place, move in with friends. Then I'm going to go from there. Get pre-approved, get credit, fix my credit. You can't wait till the day you want your credit fixed to fix it.
Yeah.
You got to start paying off stuff sometimes years in advance. So we do early long-term plans for certain things, but somehow we think we can wing it for the rest of life. I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
Just to boil it down to it, just to let you guys know that, you know, a 5-year, 10-year plan, it can be good or bad for it. It just depends on who you are.
How you approach it.
Yeah,
right.
How you approach that 5 to 10-year plan. You know, I do like what the article said, that you do it in 3 phases. I think that you think about it.
Say those phases again. Do you have them written down?
Yeah, it was a 90-day phase.
Those phases. I thought you meant the
and a 3-year phase of planning. So when even though
what about the earlier where it was motivation? Then it
one was motivation. The connection is motivational and rational. Being rational. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So So those. That was a good conversation of just about the 10-year plan.
And that song, "Money Is Coming to Me," it's by Eddie Watkins Jr. He looks like everybody's black uncle.
Eddie Watkins.
Pull it up on. It's on Apple Music.
Eddie Watkins.
You already hear the name. You already.
I'm thinking about Eddie Kane, like in the Temptations.
Let's make this.
Raindrops would fall. That's
coming to me.
Hey, you got to speak it into existence for real.
When you hear the song, you hear the lyrics. He's talking about what we're talking about here. And it's just a good song to get you hyped up when you're about to work or do something. I love that song. I'm going to listen to it when we get off of here.
All right, tip.
We got to do our wind down. We got to do our wind
down with the crew. So what we're going to do, we're going to do what tips of the week for like health and what exercise of the week.
Yeah, we got our what we put in our body and what we do with our body.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. You know what we put in our body and what we
put in our body and what we do with our body. It makes a difference. I always tell
people, a song about that.
Like here it goes. But listen, I tell people all the time, because I also do plant-based eating coaching. You can find me, go with Melanie. But if you don't put it in, you don't have to work it off. So the first thing in getting healthier is being mindful of what you eat, because majority of our issues, our diseases, our illnesses, are not feeling well is at the end of our fork. You can't solve everything with a pill. And why would you want to treat your body as the premium asset that it is, right? So if you don't put the wrong things in, you don't have to work it off. You don't have to try to heal it. Food will heal you. Food has healing properties, and so we have to be mindful. So that's why we're doing this segment. You want to go first with something about eating?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. Like Melanie said, it's not about, it's about what you put into your body that makes you healthy, not so much what's coming out of your body, you know. So we want to make sure that we're putting different things inside of our body to make us healthy. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today was magnesium. Magnesium is what I use a lot of the times when when my muscles, when I need them to be relaxed, I need to not feel sore. You know, we have a certain
He-Man over here. He-Man over here. Yeah.
I have to have where I can be able to be
Yeah.
relaxed. My
So you're
body
saying
is,
muscle soreness is a response to low magnesium? Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
it can be.
Okay.
Yes. And the thing is, and you guys can go and do your research on how, and make sure you talk to your doctor to make sure that you know what your levels are.
Yeah.
So I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to be able to give you total hips. This is what I do for myself and my body.
Yes.
Magnesium is really good in helping you relax your muscle. It helps you. You can take it during the day, the nighttime. A lot of people have low magnesium levels. So it's something that you can put into your body. It's going to help you. So that's the one that I wanted to talk
Is
about.
that a powder?
Yeah,
Before you
this is
roll
in
with
a
that
powder form. And it's like I like to have stuff flavored. It's just because I can't do it. You can get it in a pill form. You can get it in a liquid form. It's
Powders and liquids are probably better for your body taking it up. If you don't chew up a
yes,
pill, it's gonna go right out the other end.
exactly. So
I
that's
chew up
why.
my vitamins because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing I like about it, you can get it in the different flavors, and it allows you to be
Just
able
put
to
it in
take it.
water.
Yeah, take it. I put it in tea. I'll put it in some
Okay.
hot tea. Yeah, let
Yeah.
it absorb in there quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
magnesium.
so my health tip of the day is my favorite thing. I'll probably use this as my tip multiple times because it's a big one. It's water. Our bodies are 75 or more % water. We are water, right? Most people are dehydrated, especially Americans are partially dehydrated. If you are feeling thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Your body will tell you. I drink 96 ounces of water a day. It's 4 of these. Get you a bottle that's measured. It doesn't have to be this size. It can be smaller, but the good benchmark to use is half of your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, half of that is 75 ounces. That's a good benchmark to use for how much to drink a day. And people are like, I don't like water because they're used to everything being flavored, everything being sweet. Get over it. Squeeze some lemon in it. And no, putting sweetened stuff in it, your body will oftentimes process that like it processes food. It just needs to be clear water. Your bodies are begging for it. Juice does not substitute. None of this stuff. Soda definitely doesn't. You need water. And the thing is, once you adapt to it, yes, you're going to use your body, or use the bathroom more often, but your body will adjust to it to where if I don't drink 4 of these a day, the next day I wake up and my eyes are dry when I first wake up because it's letting me know you didn't drink all our water yesterday. My body knows exactly how much it's supposed to get. You don't have to drink as much as me. And no, I do not weigh 192 pounds. 96 is not half of my weight. I used to do.
They already looking, checking out her
I know
weight. They're
everybody
like,
doing the math, like, man, she's big. No, I'm gonna do the MJ cam. I don't weigh
plus
192 pounds.
Melanie's tall too, you guys. Melanie, you know, she's not short neither.
So
She
yeah,
ain't short like you.
I started out, I think at 180. I think I had, or 80, right? 80 ounces. I think I had a 20-ounce bottle at the time. So really it's the bottles that drive how much I drink. I just bought this bottle and it has 24 ounces. Drink more water. You don't have to like it. Everything you do for yourself can't be, it's because I like it. Like the impacts that it has. Some of your muscle soreness, some of those diseases that you think you're just gonna have. Water can help with it because a lot of times, and weight loss can be helped with it because your body holds on to fat when it's dehydrated.
Yep.
That's why I know people personally who start drinking tons of water and they immediately start losing weight because your body's like, oh, we can let go of this fat because now we're getting the water. I don't know the biology behind it, the science, but that's a fact that when you are dehydrated, your body holds on to fat. Let that go. Drink more water. Skin will look better. People ask me, what do you put on your skin? Water from the inside, though, as well. So, yes.
Yeah, it is. I don't get bumps or none of that stuff because water. Yep.
Yeah. People putting all this stuff on their face, all these creams. And some people do need, they may have an actual illness, but with their skin, but a lot of it, water, it makes your skin look more buoyant. And imagine this, hey, black don't crack. And it doesn't. Imagine if your body was hydrated, how young you would look. You probably look 16 when you're in your 70s. That's it, guys. I can't tell you anything more than that. You'll feel so much better. So
All
then we
right,
got
my
to do our
exercise.
movement.
Yeah, let me see. My exercise of the week. You know what? I'm gonna go old school.
Uh-oh.
Push-ups. So the
Oh,
push-ups,
no,
either you can do
no.
push-ups with your knees on the ground, or you can do push-ups with your knees off the ground.
I can do
So
a
there's a
few. I
couple of
can do a
different ways
few.
that you want to.
Show us a couple push-ups over there, Vernon. You got floor space. You got to show us. Come on, he does movement Mondays on his channels. Okay, oh yeah, you know he's gonna show off because he. Oh, okay. Well, but now here it is, Vernon. Can you do the one and clap when you go up?
Yeah, yeah, I can do that.
I can't.
I do the
will
one
land
where
on
I
my
kick
face.
out too. But yeah, I
Oh
say
no.
push-ups. Yeah, push-ups is mine. One, it can build strength, and don't get me wrong, you don't have to think about doing 10, 20 push-ups. Start off doing a push-up the right way and just do one or two. But
Yes.
do one or
The
two
right
every
way.
day the
Yes, your
right
body
way.
will respond. That is a
Yes.
fact. That is
Yeah,
a fact.
if you do it every day, say if I did 20 push-ups, in one day, and then I don't do none the rest of the week. It's better to do the 3 push-ups every day than to do it just one day.
And then fall off the wagon.
Yeah, fall off the rest. So push-ups is a very
Yes.
simple one. Just try it. You don't need weights. You can do it anywhere in your house or
Yes.
wherever you're at.
Yes.
Push-ups.
Yes. And what Vernon's talking about is so true. That I stopped going to the gym. Actually, I started going to a different gym during COVID. I stopped going altogether last year, and I do it at home. There's so many YouTube videos. I happen to follow a woman named Heather Robertson. Her videos are amazing. She doesn't talk during the video. She just does the work. But you can find. I guess my tip for the day is find what you can enjoy doing and just do that. Any movement is better than no movement. Like Vernon was just saying, find a YouTube video, right? You don't have to pay for it. A lot of people, I can't afford a gym. You don't need it. There are
Movement Mondays on Instagram, fourth quarter
Movement
success. Movement
Mondays
Mondays
with
every Monday with
Yes,
Vernon.
fourth
DJ
quarter of success. You can do, I talked about line dancing before. You can do chair exercises. You can do body weight exercises. And that way, when you're traveling and you don't have your weights or whatever, you can do it. Find a YouTuber that you like. I prefer Heather Robertson because of her format. You may like another person, and do whatever they just go and pull up a video and do whatever they do. That always helps me. If I don't have to think about what I'm going to do, choose it. If I just have an instructor saying, do this, now do this, I'm more likely to stick with it than if I'm trying to figure out what to do. So my cheat code is I'm just going to go to Heather's channel, whatever the first video is, I'm going to do that. And just do that every day or 4 or 5 times a week. It could be 20 minutes. Because like I said, it's better to move 10, 15 minutes than not at all.
Yes.
It's better to move 10, 15 minutes than not at all. So use YouTube. There's free stuff all over YouTube. You don't need a gym membership. You just have to have a desire to do it. Are we done?
We got done. And I want to thank, my co-host, MJ. MJ, give them your handles where they can get in contact with you.
You can find me most places that I am Coach MJ. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Where else am I? I got a YouTube channel as well. I think that's I am Coach MJ. My plant-based eating coaching, you can find at Go Meatless with Melanie. It's Melanie with 2 L's. If you can see this below, I don't know if it's showing. MELLANIE. Go Meatless with Melanie if you need help with plant-based eating coaching.
And all of my handles are at Fourth Quarter Success. So if you go to Fourth Quarter Success Instagram, you can go to Fourth Quarter Success YouTube. You can go to Fourth Quarter Success TikTok and Facebook. I have Fourth Quarter Success, or you can go Vernon L. Jackson. You can find me on all those. Melanie, do you have I remember you saying you were maybe coming up with like a journal or a book eventually a sale. So I'm going to do a promotion of mine too. The Fitness Journal. This is a Fourth Quarter Success Fitness Journal.
Where's your name?
I'm gonna start pre-selling these probably right at the beginning of November. So I will have these. They have different workouts, different exercises inside of them. So I will start pre-selling these in November. We'll give you more information throughout
I
the
love that. Yes,
We're going to
I
promote
gotta
our
get started.
products.
I just need to get my little sample together. You have to tell me how you got that going. But guys, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this episode, and stay with us. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you will not miss our next new episode. Bye-bye.
We out of here.
Boom.